Summer has come to Last Pine, and with it the kind of exuberant chaos that comes with having children left to their own devices, wandering the streets, playing in all kinds of places they were probably more dangerous than they ever realized. Teenagers with summer jobs doing their best adult impression, secretly longing for that same freedom their younger siblings are rewarded with as the weather gets hotter and the days get longer. One of those teenagers, Hannah Allen, takes the long way home from her job at the Double C Diner. Last Pine's other big summer event, the Pinewood County Fair, will be starting soon, and she hopes to sneak a peek at the setup. She squeezes through a gap in the fence, making her way into the lot near the football field where the carnival games and rides are being set up. She looks over the half-built tents and machinery, illuminated by the moonlight, trying to discern what's what. Lightning cracks and jumps across the sky, frightening her. She suddenly feels very alone. She moves through the darkness more quickly now, trying to cut to the other side of the lot, closer to home. Here the fence stands wide open, a lucky break, perhaps. She looks back at the partially assembled carnival, and then both ways to cross the street. On the other side, she glances back again, and from the darkness, a black balloon slowly drifts across the lot, as if it were following her. It travels low and straight until it's right in front of her, and then pops. Welcome back, everybody. This is Welcome to Last Pine, a 4-session series of my game Bump in the Dark, running for the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet Gaming Community you can, of course, find at gauntlet-rpg.com. My name is Jex. I use they and them pronouns, and I will be your keeper for today's session. Just introduce our players, our wonderful players, and their characters real quick. Names and pronouns will go across the bottom of my screen. Stephen, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, name, pronoun, any links or anything like that, and then tell us a little bit about your character.
Hey there, I am Stephen, he, him. You can find me at Stephen Alligator. You'll mostly just find Gauntlet stuff, so you're already finding it. I am playing Mrs. B. She, her are Lance. I think I finally remember my playbook's name. She is a semi-retired seeker of mysteries. There's something involving the Book of Names and her opening it. Maybe it's been opened again. Maybe it's become the internet. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, great.
Also, are we on the island? Is that the twist here? This entire time, they're just giant balloon balls everywhere on the edges that haven't been described.
Play to find out, right? Ben.
I'm Ben. I use he and him pronouns. You can find me online at Arctosaur. And I am playing Troy McPhee, the town's carpenter, and the group's Scourge, who just had a close encounter with his dead mother.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a question in there.
Yeah.
What exactly was that? Yeah. And Thomas.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Thomas. I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Book, who is the Raven playbook and is a former archivist who's haunted by technology that's constantly whispering to him in the voice of the void. And Book uses he, they pronouns.
Awesome. And Angela.
Actually, it's Barry. So, yeah, hi, everyone. It's Barry, she, her pronouns. And the guy who sometimes shows up in front of my screen is Gremlin, who's my cat. And I play Angela, who's the shield of the group. And she's the high school hockey coach and the muscle. But she wants to find out more about the mysteries and the occult part to be more than just the power in a physical sense.
Thank you, Barry. And yeah, you can find me at JexJ Thomas, including the game that we're playing on itch.io at JexJ Thomas. So, Mrs. B, you are at home. We haven't seen your home yet, I don't think. We've seen you at the library. We've seen you in the chemistry lab. What's Mrs. B's house like?
Oh, I think it's like low level hoarder. I think that there are definitely like old used books, piles of newspapers on some surfaces. I think there are a lot of pictures of different places in the world that Mrs. B has been to, hanging over all the walls. Yeah, I think that's it's. I think we kind of said it's sort of relatively close to the center of town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know Mrs. B has kind of a cozy look with these big sweaters and big scarves. Does her house feel cozy in that way too? Like, are there lots of doilies or like hanging Afghans or like?
Yeah, I think there are.
Yeah, yeah. It is a kind of summer mid-afternoon when you hear a knock on your door, and assuming that you go to answer it, you find a young student of yours, Ollie Young. Ollie is a high school hockey star. Angela is his coach. Angela's friends with his dad, Tony. He's a good student. You know him pretty well. You kind of mentor him because he doesn't really want to be a hockey star. He wants to be a poet, but he's kind of been pressured into athletics. So I think he sees Mrs. B, as someone that he can come to, and he is coming to her now on the summer afternoon. What do you do?
Oh, Holly, it's what a pleasure. I was just thinking I had this book that you might enjoy. Here, come inside. I just finished up baking some cookies.
Okay. Inside. Okay. And he follows you inside. I think he's kind of standing there awkwardly doing that thing, where you're not sure what to do with your hands and sort of waiting for your lead, even though it's, clear that he has something for you.
Oh, now what do I owe this actually, what's his last name?
Young.
Oh, now what do I owe this pleasure today? Now what do I owe this pleasure to today, Mr. Young?
Yeah, I wasn't sure where else to
And this is
go.
after I have served him several cookies.
Sure.
Just
yeah,
to
so
clarify.
he's like sitting in the couch now and like kind of sunk into it and he's, kind of eating cookies, and I wasn't really sure where to go, who to go to. I don't know. I don't know if the police are involved yet, or my friend Hannah, Hannah Allen. She doesn't use the library a whole lot, but you maybe you've seen her around. She's the same year as me, and she well, okay, just a second. I need to. Okay, so Hannah called me two nights ago, after she got home from work at the Double Z Diner, and she told me this story that she like went through like the carnival yards, and like she saw this balloon and it was like really creepy, and then she came home and she called me and we talked most nights, and but now she's missing. We were supposed to hang out yesterday and she never showed up, and her parents haven't seen her. They said they realized they haven't seen her since when she left for work the other day. So like Mrs. B, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Should I be talking to the police? Like, what should we be doing?
Now, hang on, dear. How long ago was the last time you saw her?
The last time I saw her, or the last time I talked to her?
The last time you talked to her.
So not last night, but the night before.
All right. And this was the night that she saw the balloon you talked about. Could you tell me anything more about that?
I don't know. She just said it was really creepy. Like this balloon followed her through the carnival grounds, and it popped, and it was really scary. And she said there was lightning too. And I don't remember it storming the other night. But I don't know. It sounded pretty creepy, and I don't know, maybe I don't know. I've been reading a lot of Stephen King books this summer, and so I don't know if it's something like that. It's probably nothing like that, right? It's probably not anything really weird, like a clown that lives in the sewers or something, right?
Oh. No, I'm certain that if it's anything, it's something far more reasonable than a clown.
She's not the kind of person that runs away. It's just her being gone is weird.
I understand. Have you have our parents gone to talk to the police yet? To the sheriff, Joe?
I don't know. They don't really like me that much. I don't think they like Hannah talking to boys. I mean, I don't think they have anything to worry about. But they don't really like me very much. So they told me that they haven't seen her, and that's about all I know. They didn't seem too worried though. I don't know. I don't need to be. Do I need to be scared, Mrs. B? I feel really scared. Do I need to be scared?
I think that fear lets us know that there is danger afoot. And I think that you're right that there is something dangerous going on. But just because we feel fear does not mean that it is the emotion we should let control us.
Okay.
So how about this? I'm going to call my dear Angela, and the two of us and you can go and talk to Sheriff Joe together, because I do feel this is something. It reminds me of something.
Oh.
And I throw on a scarf. It's the middle of summer. It's a very light. This is just a sheer scarf at this point.
Uh-huh.
It has no because of course I can't wear a full knit scarf.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, okay. He kind of
and I think I'm down to
a
a
cookie.
sweater vest rather than a full sweater.
Love it. Yeah, he kind of finishes the last cookie that was on the plate in his lap, and it's like, oh, okay. We're gonna go see my coach. Is that?
Yes, Angela. She's a very resourceful woman.
Okay.
And hang on a moment. I need to put some of this in a Tupperware for Sheriff Joe. And I put some of the cookies into the Tupperware, and we go.
Yeah. I guess you guys tell me. I'm wondering, do we want everyone to be all together right away, and that's how we find everybody, or
I send out. I assume we have some kind of phone tree. It is the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
If Angela doesn't want to come to the sheriff with me, that's fine. We can think of something else. I just wanted to let him know that I'd be letting other people know about this.
Right, yeah.
I'd love to go to the sheriff with you for sure, but I think it's also good to get us together quite fast.
So yeah, Mrs. B, I wonder if you actually drive him not to Angela's, but to Troy's.
Well, certainly it is the 90s. Who's going to question an adult figure
Right.
driving their teenage son to a stranger's house?
Yeah. So, well, he maybe, you know, he might not know where Angela lives anyway. But I think there you're greeted by probably greeted by Angela, and then Troy and Book who are also there. If that works for folks, I think just to kind of get things together, everybody, in one place.
Oh, now, you'll probably, we're gonna meet someone who will say a lot of things. It's very important that you don't really listen to him.
Oh, like a friend of Coach Miller's?
Yes, he has a lot of ideas.
Oh,
We'll say.
okay. Ideas are good though, right? You've always told me ideas are good. Plant them in the ground so they may flower, right? The ideas of the earth. That's what you always say?
It's always important though to remember that our ideas need to be tested, because if they're not tested, then they're just beliefs.
Oh, okay. Well, you told me it's important to believe in myself too. That beliefs are also
Of course.
important. Oh, okay.
And you test that regularly and prove that it is that belief is worth it, is true.
Okay. And actually, why don't we real quick actually just go over beliefs and drives so we have those in mind as we work through this final session. So, well, first of all, what we'll do is we'll kind of introduce each of you as Ollie sees you. So I think Angela, he sees you first. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what Angela is wearing today, and then go over her beliefs and drive.
Mm-hmm. So since it's summer, Angela's probably wearing something like a white t-shirt and some shorts with probably a lot of pockets filled with some stuff. Maybe she was working on something in Troy's house, as one does some sort of traps for monsters. So she has a lot of like small tools all over her. And beliefs as well.
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm. So her beliefs are that she needs to find out about Mrs. B's past and occult stories that might pose danger to us. And she also believes that in this town we will always be fighting monsters, and we need to be ready and make others ready too.
And what is Angela's drive?
To make the town a better place for future generations.
Great. So I think, Angela maybe answers the door, and Ollie kind of peeks, says hello and peeks behind and sees Troy and Book sitting at the table. Troy, what does Ollie see when he lays his eyes on you? And then tell us about your beliefs and drive.
So I think Troy is wearing a gray T-shirt under a short-sleeved lighter flannel with some shorts that are very conservatively below the knee for the 90s. And so his beliefs are, he believes that leading people to the truth is a terrible idea because the supernatural only leads to ruin and disaster. And his drive is to protect the town and the world from the forces of the supernatural.
Great. And then there at the table with Troy is Book. Tell us what Ollie sees when he looks at Book, and your beliefs and drive.
Yeah, so I think Book looks the same in summer and winter. I think there isn't much of a shift in clothing. I think he's indoors, but he still has a beret on. Like I don't. It's he's not doing well. So he's wearing like a button-down shirt, and I think he's got all these papers in front of him, and that's my cat. And I think he's got a map of the town, and he is like just making some notes on it. And he looks up and he sees this kid, and he goes, "Is this another sighting? Is this another case?" And
Awesome.
sorry, Book's drives are Angela keeps protecting us. Someone needs to protect her. Computers channel the void. They need to be destroyed. And their drive is, that was the belief, sorry. And their drive is, I will find out why these damned computers speak to me.
Perfect. He kind of like looks wide-eyed and like looks over to you, Mrs. B, and asks, "That's the guy, isn't it?" And Mrs. B, what are your beliefs in drive?
Let's see here. My beliefs and drives are bless his heart. Book thinks he knows the true nature of the world. I need to protect him from the worst of his mistakes. Knowledge in the hands of the powerful is prone to abuse. I must reclaim it before innocents are hurt. And my drive is I will keep the book of names hidden so that it can never be opened again.
Fantastic. So yeah, I think he kind of like looks over at you and then looks back up at Angela and says, hi, Coach Miller. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Mrs. B. I hope he's not a new recruit, a bit too young for that.
I think book goes where recruiting. We can't like no recruits. Like I thought I was really clear on this.
Since we already have Troy.
Troy will just kind of like, hi, it's a new guy.
Hi, Mrs. B. What's all this talk about recruiting?
Oh, remember what I said, dear.
Oh, okay. So cases. What case? It looks at you, book. What cases are you working on?
Son, I'm going to just call you son. I don't know your name. It's fine. We don't need to get into the details. But there's more going on than you can fathom, than you can understand, and just trust the adults in this room to kind of have it sorted out.
No, that's why I'm here.
Good. So just tell us the
No.
information.
Yeah.
Not you too. Oh, okay, it's summer, but you still need to focus. You need to train. You need
Coach Miller, you know Hannah, right? Hannah Allen, my friend. She
Yes.
she's missing, and Mrs. B said we were going to go here so that we could go to the police. But I mean, it seems like maybe are you guys like private detectives or something?
We're not.
Yes.
I think you can help me. Hannah's missing, and it goes over the whole story again. We don't need to reiterate that, but and we can go to the cops if that's what's best. I trust you to know what's best. And looks back over at Mrs. B and says, but I'm really worried about Hannah.
All right. I think we can look into it. The parents, whether they want to let the cops know or not, that might be up to them. But we can, I think, try to do something ourselves too, right? Maybe this is nothing. Maybe we will find her in a few moments. But since you are worried about your friends, then I say let's check it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, this sounds right up our alley.
So do you have a place in mind where we could check, Ollie, where we could try this carnival, this festival? What was it that you mentioned?
Yeah, they're setting up I think everybody here would know about the Pinewood County Fair. It's a yearly sort of thing. It's near, kind of set up, I think, near the school, probably, kind of by I said football field before. It's not a football field. It's the hockey arena. I think it's near there. It's near to there. So Angela has probably seen them setting up if she's gone over there during the summer at all. I'd say let's say it's like a Wednesday or something today, like middle of the week, and the fair is set to begin on Friday. So they're still kind of like assembling the rides and all the different like carnival games and the midway and stuff like that. It's like, that's the last place she told me she was other than at home.
Sounds like a good place to start.
Yeah.
Is Ollie coming with, or I guess I just want to check on that. I don't want to make any assumptions.
It's a good question.
I won't know. I think Book will say this explicitly. I think Book will say like, I think you've come to us, son, and I think that was the extent of your role in this. We don't know what we'll find, and we can't guarantee your safety. So I just feel you should go home.
I love seeing this new like aspect of Book of being like very kind of patronizing towards young people.
I think he just doesn't know how old people are, so maybe it's like this is a 13-year-old.
No, I think Ollie though, like Ollie is totally good with that. He's like, yeah, okay, yeah. I can find my way back home, no problem. If you all want to just start doing your private detective thing.
I give him a very strong pat on the back and say, "We'll find her."
Great.
Carry on.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope that you find her.
We'll do our best. And I think this whole time, Troy's been kind of sitting at the table with a mug of coffee and kind of just rubbing the side of his head just gently.
I see. When Troy spills everything about our secrets to a random kid, that's okay. Troy, though, that's a step over the line. I mean, not Troy, Ollie.
Did Mrs. B say this, or is this just commentary?
No, that was just commentary.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone was really careful not to tell Ollie everything.
It probably helps that the others are there, so Troy's not gonna.
Okay, yeah. Do we head to the Troy mobile to get it to go to the grounds? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can cut to the carnival grounds if that's where everyone is headed. We see you pull up, and it's much the same as the scene that the viewer saw in the cold open, right? But now everything is illuminated. It looks a little less creepy. There aren't as many menacing shadows maybe as there were previously, and it looks pretty straightforward. Like I think probably like some of the bigger rides are pretty much built and ready to go. I'd say probably even compared to the scene earlier, it's pretty much finished being built for the most part. And there's people, there's like carnies and workers and stuff who are like probably plugging big industrial strength extension cords into each other and things like that, and just getting things ready for the opening on Friday. If you pull up, you probably pull up to like the front of it, like where there's probably like a parking lot and stuff like that, and the gate is just open. Yeah. How do you want to do this?
I mean, just to get it out of the way, any ominous black balloons hanging around?
That's a great question. None that you see right off the bat.
Okay.
I mean, I assume just to ask on Book's behalf, because I assume this is like his habit on coming to a place. Are there any computers in sight?
I'm trying
I
to
think
think
it
of like
would be. I think it would be cool if there is an attraction at the fair, which is
yeah.
something computer related arcade machines.
Hmm.
I don't know, like I can see
Right.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? Is where's the sort of separation between like what's a computer and what isn't? Because yeah, there's definitely arcade machines. There's a an arcade with lots and lots of games. So there's that. I think oh gosh, what if like one of the this isn't probably actually a computer, but like one of the attractions, like one of the rides is like the computer, and it's like I don't know exactly what it does, but maybe it's like one of those like strength things where you hit it and you have to hit the bell, but instead it's like diodes you put on your brain or something. I don't know. Don't hire me to come up with your carnival attractions. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely like computers or like computer adjacent things here. I don't know that there's anybody's here with like like an old school laptop or something, but yeah, I would say book, you hear some crackling in the voices kind of coming in and out. I think they're there pretty much all the time now.
Yeah. So that's what I think. I think a part of why book is a bit different now is just because I think like they are much worse at conversation now, because it feels like they're talking all the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that if you sort of are just standing around after getting out of the truck, probably someone comes up to you. I think this is a guy named Mark, him, who is maybe one of the like I don't know the hierarchy of carnival workers, but he's like some sort of like supervisor or something. Comes up, he's like, hey folks, the fair doesn't start for another couple of days, so I don't know if you want to come back later. We're just kind of finishing up here, getting some stuff built. I think probably
The sheriff asked us to check out if everything looks good here. After we had, last year, there were some problems with one of the rides, looking kind of dangerous. We wanted to just not any control, but just take a look that everything looks fine. I'm sure it will be, but just a quick glance, really.
Oh, we didn't get any complaints or anything. That's the sheriff sent you? Yeah, there's definitely gonna need to be a roll here. I don't think that this is a super believable story. This is risky.
Sure.
What are we doing here?
Could Troy help by showing his like carpentry certificate in his wallet?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. Yeah, go ahead and mark off a luck for helping there. But yeah, Barry, how's Angela approaching this?
I wanted to compel, but I think I'm swaying because it's a bit like far-fetched. So I guess I will try to sway and push my luck.
I mean, if you want to color it more towards compelling, you definitely can, right? Like you kind of made an appeal to authority, the sheriff, right?
Yeah,
like you
I
definitely
was trying for that.
I think that if you want to be going compel here, that makes sense to me. So you have 2 in compel, plus a die from Troy for assisting. Do you want to push your luck or hear a deal with the darkness?
Yeah, I will push my luck. So then I will mark how much luck? 2?
2 luck, yep. So that puts you at 4.
Yes.
Wow. All right. Ooh, I do not have the dice roller open.
I got a 6.
Oh, all right. So you do it. Yeah. Tell me what this looks like. Like, so you're kind of intimidating him here a little bit. Give me just paint a little bit of a picture of that.
So I think if I rolled like this, then maybe there indeed was something last year that this Mark guy was kind of maybe involved with maybe some negligence, nothing really big, but just someone being on a break too long and not making sure that that everything was properly checked, and maybe some of the rides started making weird noises and the parents were concerned.
Yeah.
And now Mark remembers this, and Angela's mention of the sheriff is enough to kind of be like, okay, let's just go with this. What the hell?
Oh shit! Why is the sheriff involved in this? OSHA already dinged us.
That's
Fine.
Not really from the sheriff's side, more like, concerned community. We just want to take a brief look, not going to even check anything. None of us really, knows this stuff, but just so, to see that no one's been slacking off. I stare at him.
Okay, all right. I mean, my workers are the best in the business. Best in the business. And he says it loud enough for everyone to hear him behind him. So you have nothing to worry about. Okay? So fine, take a look around. If you need anything, let me know.
Thank you, Mark. Glad we
Kinda-
understand each other. Great
like-
work here. The decorations on this one are lovely. This is a new one, right?
No, we have this one every year. He kind of
Okay.
kicks a clump of dirt and sort of walks off.
Since Berry rolled a crit.
Oh, it was a crit? Not just
yes, 2 6s.
Oh.
Yeah. So can we say Mark hands over something so that we can go to the like some places that like might be like shut
Restricted
off or
area.
things. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he has like one of those like clipboards that like contractors have that you can put stuff inside of it, and he opens it up and gives like some kind of like it's not a key card, but like an ID that identifies you as like someone who can look around and whatever. So sorry, I only have one of them, so he hands it to Angela. But yeah, absolutely, I think that makes sense. I think, let me look at the list of clues here, because if that was a crit, I feel like I think maybe there can just be a clue right off the bat too, but if it makes sense. I think there actually is something that you sort of notice as Mark is walking off, which is it's been pretty dry. And I know Ollie mentioned that Hannah said there was lightning, but you all know there hasn't been a storm or anything recently. But you notice that a lot of the ground here is wet. So I think the clue is just wet ground. So where do you go first?
I think I have a pitch, which is that like I am like wandering towards the arcade section, and I'd like to just like open myself up to whatever they're going to tell me about what's happening here.
Yeah. Oops. Okay, so you're just kind of like opening yourself up to the void here.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you get closer to I don't think there's anything like standing in your way here, so I don't think this is even a roll. I think you can just do this, but I mean, I guess knowing that it could be dangerous still, even without an obstacle getting in the way.
Yeah, I feel like there's always a risk when opening yourself up to the void. Like,
Yeah. Just a little. I mean, I guess here's the thing, right? Maybe that's where the role is here is, if you are concerned about not sort of not getting lost in it, like if you want to kind of try to maintain your fortitude, your mental fortitude here, I guess, then maybe there's a role here after all. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you think there's some risk of like something happening to Book, like yeah, I think that makes sense to roll. Yeah, because obviously Book doesn't want to let the void in.
Yeah. So what are you rolling?
Connect. I think Connect is the obvious choice, and yeah, I think Book is maybe like while everyone else is together, Book is like wandering off very kind of like noticeably like in one direction, just making a beeline for these voices, and like as they walk closer and closer, the voices get louder. So, yeah, let's find out what they're saying.
Yeah, so you have one in Connect. Do you want to push your luck, or I think I have a deal for you if you want to take it.
I'd love to hear it. Yeah.
The void takes something from you.
What?
Well, yeah, let's figure that out. What's something that maybe a piece of information that you'd rather whatever these things are not have? What's
Okay, so the only way I can see this sort of coming back is if like the void figures out something that it could then use when talking to the others in the group. You know what I mean? Like something that Book wouldn't want the others to like know about.
I wonder if it's something about what happened to Troy's parents.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think I think it's Emma, Troy's mom, telling Book that she thinks this is danger, like whatever they're going to do is dangerous and they shouldn't do it. And Book saying, like, don't worry, like I figured this out, like I've got it, like we need this, we need to do this, and it will like answer so many questions. And it's Book convincing her that it's safe.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. Absolutely. I think I am trying to think like how we would like sort of see that on the screen as this is happening, but I think it's just sort of like that flashbacks kind of like intercut a little bit maybe as you're moving towards the arcade.
I think I do have to push myself to use the monstrous ability, right?
Yeah, are you?
Something else?
You're right. So you're using voices from the beyond. Yeah, you're right. So, you do have to push yourself to do that.
Yeah, and I'm reading here. Push yourself and choose one.
Yeah. So, I guess I spaced on that. That was a ability here. So you push yourself, but you actually aren't going to have to roll because that's just something you can do here, I think, unless there's a good reason for it. But yeah, voices from beyond, you can attune to the dark whispers of the void to gain special insight into the current situation. So mark off the stress. And I think thank you for catching that.
Yeah, but I was looking at the final rules, and it's also you lose control.
You
suffer a condition,
or the keeper takes a string. If it's okay with you, Book, I think that the string here that I'd pull later is this bit about Troy's mom.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's really
okay. So you're walking towards the arcade and you're so when there's lots of different like computerized things around, do you hear lots of different voices?
No, it's all just one. Like it isn't. It's the void talking. There isn't a plural void.
Right. But I do think that you hear it sometimes you hear it in multiple voices, right?
Oh yeah.
Like
a chorus of sorts.
Yeah. So you have kind of this chorus of sort of electronic kind of voices. And I think that what's it say? It says Baby Billy's coming back. And it's kind of just saying that over and over again. Baby Billy, Baby Billy, Baby Billy's coming back.
Is this a clue? It feels like
It is a clue. Yep. I think that's,
Oh
I think
my
that's a clue.
God. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I shared this with the group yet. Like, I think this is like, if people want to do something and then book will come back.
Mm-hmm. I think mostly they say baby Billy, but one time they say baby barking Billy. Yeah, so the three of you watch Book just sort of take off towards the arcade. What are you doing?
Do we know where exactly the balloon was spotted?
It actually was kind of like by where you came in. She came into the fairgrounds through like a hole in the fence or something, and walked pretty much right down the middle and exited through the doors where you came in, and went across the street there. So she saw it. It was following her. She noticed it following her like once she actually crossed the street. So if you wanted to kind of go over, I imagine on the other side, it's just like sort of, I don't know, maybe a little bit of a small wooded area or something. So you could look there if you wanted. Otherwise, you got the sense. I mean, at least from what Ollie said, Ollie wasn't there, but that the balloon had sort of just followed her down the middle of the midway or whatever you call it.
Yeah, I think checking out the wooded area seems to make sense.
Yeah. Looking for anything in particular?
Any idea, like, I mean, I guess a hive of black balloons would be too easy, but maybe there's like scraps of latex on a tree branch or something to indicate it was actually here.
Yeah. Is there anything special that you want to do here? I mean, I think that sort of just looking, I think that I think you can probably find something here without really needing to roll anything, but I don't know if there's anything that you want to do to maybe make it more effective or anything like that.
I think going to be looking for any kind of sign or presence of the void in this area.
Yeah. So how do you do that?
Well, I've already opened myself to it once. Maybe I can just kind of leave the door open a crack and see if anything pushes it further.
Yeah. I think this is definitely risky. This sounds like Connect. Is that kind of what you think? Yeah. So you have 2 in Connect. Do you want to push your luck or make a deal with the darkness?
Always interested in hearing deals.
Yeah. The void is going to tell you something that maybe you think you want to know, but you don't want to know.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and roll with 3 dice here. Is anyone helping, or Mrs. B and Angela, are you doing things elsewhere?
I think maybe Angela is looking at him, thinking that maybe something is gonna happen, just in case. But I don't think I have a way to help. But more like watching over.
That sounds good. All right,
let's do it. There's a
Okay, so
6.
that's a 6. Yeah. Um, yeah, you what's it feel like letting the void in here? Or maybe first, what do we see on screen that kind of shows us you're doing this, and then what does it feel like?
I think he kind of takes a moment to center himself, looks down at the ground, and when he looks back up, you see the like as if the pupils in his eyes have both blown out. It's almost entirely black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you immediately find the popped black balloon, and it's just sort of normal latex. You feel it between your fingers, and it seems pretty. Other than maybe you don't often see black balloons a ton at a carnival, it's just a balloon. As you're holding it, you see this sort of thick black fluid that, as far as you could tell, was not actually in the balloon, seems to be leaking out of the balloon and like covering your hand. And it's kind of feels like oil, like motor oil. Kind of similar kind of viscosity. And yeah, I think the clue is just like black fluid, something like that. And so it's part of what happens here, and it seems real. It's on your hand, you can feel it. It's wet. It's got kind of a texture to it and a smell. I think it smells like motor oil as well. And actually, maybe that's what we see. We kind of get a scene of you sort of bringing your hand closer to your nose to smell this, and you hear, "Book nose." Mrs. B, what are you up to?
I think I'm following after Book because I need to make certain he does not, get himself killed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You watch him go into the
yeah, I follow after him into the arcade.
Yeah. Book, does she find you right away, or like what does she find when she gets in there? Because you were a bit ahead of her.
Yeah, I think when Mrs. B comes up on Book is repeating the words. Book, they're going like, "Baby Billy, baby barking Billy." Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I like the idea that, because this place is closed, all these arcade isn't open yet. All these arcade machines should be off, but they've all turned on while he's having this.
Yeah. Oh, I actually love that image. That maybe we'll, a little retcon that we got that as Book was walking in, we start seeing them power up.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you walk in to see Book in this arcade that's fully powered on. There's there's music and chiming and flashing, and there's Book just saying, "Okay, baby Billy, barking baby Billy. Okay." What do you do, Mrs. B?
I immediately grab a hold of him and I say, "Book, you are dangerously exposing yourself to the void. Come back to me immediately. The void is leaking and you are the crack."
Yeah, I think Book snaps out of it and goes, "No such thing. I am in full control. I have something that's useful information, something about a baby Billy. I don't know exactly what it means, but this is important that I did this. Okay, we can go now. We can go." And Book shake it off and
if you're gonna just walk off, I grab a hold of you and I say, "I know that you have a connection, Book, and I know that it is tempting, but power wielded foolishly will get you killed, will get other people killed. I know that better than anyone.
I think book is caught off guard and goes like, how do you know about that? Has it been talking to you
Which
too?
which part is that? I do not know what is talking to you, book, but I have my suspicions, and I gesture around at the machines that have all turned on, and is this the first time Book has actually noticed that all the machines have turned on around him?
Yeah, and it says book probably like wasn't paying attention. Like, yeah. I think that. Like, are they not supposed to be on? Like, I think that's Book's reaction right now. Yeah. I think Book for a second thought that you knew that they were partially responsible for Emma dying. So I think once he realizes that that's not what you're trying to say, he goes like, okay, yeah, I should be more careful. You're right.
Yeah. I think we cut back to Angela, and I know we're just about at the top of the hour, so let's have Angela see what Angela's doing, and then maybe we can take our first break. So what, Angela, you kind of watch Troy go across the street. You see Mrs. B take off after Book. You look around and see, there's people kind of like hammering things and putting things together, and you see some people on smoke breaks. What do you do?
So I think after seeing my friends go off to do some weird shit, I'm going to matter-of-factly go and look into all the places where a human could fit. So I will just open all the doors and check some trunks just to make sure that no one has stashed a girl somewhere around here. And I will just do it methodically throughout the whole place.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think that's probably like where we would go to commercial break, right? Is you starting to kind of look around, like start like peeking under things. Then we'll come back on that after the break. So why don't we take a 10-minute break? Be back at 10 after.
Okay.
All right. Great. All right. Just want to double check. Stephen, are you back as well?
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool. Great. Yeah, so Angela is kind of wandering around the concourse, looking in any spot that seems big enough to stash a body to see if there's a body in there. Is that right? Yeah. I think that probably, where we would like come back from commercial then is a sort of shot of, be like a shot from like, beneath a, inside a cabinet or something, kind of looking back out at you as you're sort of peering in, and slowly the camera kind of just angles enough to see that there's someone standing directly behind you. And I think this is, I don't know, say this is a woman. She is pretty big, like pretty built, like muscular, like maybe even more so than Angela. And I think we see her name tag says Pat, and she says, "Can I help you?"
I show her my name tag that I got from Mark. Just looking around quickly to see if everything's fine here. Talk to Mark before.
That's my toolbox. Mark can't give people permission to look inside my toolbox.
Oh, sorry, but you've got some great tools there, if I say so myself. Really cool. The screwdriver.
The wonderful disarming compliment. I love your tools. I appreciate that, but I ask that you please step away from my toolbox.
All right.
And she's just kind of looking at you. It's not like a glare. There doesn't seem to be like, even anger or hatred here. Like it's just like sort of, I don't know. It's hard to sort of place what she might be thinking right now, but she's definitely interested in what you're going to do next. And she kind of steps back to give you room to step away from the. And it's one of those like, it's like a big toolbox, and it has like probably what you were looking at, like this big compartment on the bottom that, potentially could, put a person inside or something. And she just kind of gives you some space and watches for what you're going to do next.
So maybe could I try to read her, as in I would like to say to her, anything weird going on here? We heard some stories from the kids, probably nothing, but we're just not sure. The energy seems kind of weird here, and I just want to basically watch her face as I say this. So
okay, yeah, I think that this is going to be a roll, because I think this is actually risky. What action are you using here?
I guess sway. I'm not good at it, but let's try.
Okay, so you're kind of trying to convince her to tell you that there's something weird going on here.
I'd like to more like know what her deal is. I don't.
Okay, is that maybe study?
Her. Okay, yeah, maybe more so. Yeah, still the same.
Yeah, also something you have 0 dice in.
Yeah. Exactly, but yeah, we can go with it. I'm trying to read her face. I'm not great at this. Don't read social cues well, but let's try it.
Okay. Do you want to push your luck or make a deal with the darkness to get yourself up to 1 die?
Maybe I can hear the deal with the darkness.
There's someone else around watching this encounter, and I'm going to start a 4-step clock. We call this clock. I think we'll just call the clock suspicious or suspicions, and I'll tick it once.
Okay.
All right.
For me.
Cool.
And I will push my luck.
It's one or the other.
Oh, okay. Then just that. All right. Then I just roll with one. We'll see. Maybe it won't be the worst.
Yeah. So let's.
And it's a 1.
oh, buddy. Well, on a risky 1, things go badly, and there's a major consequence. I think what happens here, first of all, I think she walks like right up to you, and she's like a little bit taller than you too, and kind of like takes the badge on the lanyard and just kind of like looks at it and rips it off of you. We'll say, for the sake of this is one of those like easy release sort of things, so it's not violent per se, but she kind of tears this thing off of you, and yeah, I think that this is you can resist this if you'd like, but I think this is taking away an opportunity. The circumstances have changed. I don't think that Mark is fine with you continuing to look around, but I think you look and see that there are other carnies now that are kind of like, circling in a little bit. And I don't think that you are investigating here is going to be a lot more difficult, I guess. Let's say that. I think it's going to be really, really hard to find much of anything else here while these carnies are around.
Right. So I just glare at her and I walk away to find my friends.
Okay. I think at this point probably everybody is just sort of back in the main concourse after having done their things. Unless there's something specific somebody wants to be doing, following up on.
So when we meet together, I just want to say there was a really rude lady there. Had a great screwdriver though, and nobody in her box, but she was acting suspicious. How about you guys?
We lost Thomas there. Troy will hold up his oil stained fingers and say, "Found this on a bit of a balloon, or in a bit. Hard to explain."
You think there's any chance this void thing that we've met recently was involved and likes to eat teenage girls?
I don't know what it likes to eat, but yeah, I'd bet it's involved.
Well, she did call after encountering it.
Maybe it has an incubation period.
I look at Tom. I look at Book. Like,
Sorry,
incubation period is in my head.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, they were talking about maybe the thing has an incubation period, and I look at Book because incubation period.
Just sounds reasonable.
I think Mark comes up to the four of you and she's like, "So I trust everything looked, everything was by the books, everything above boards. Hopefully my crew didn't give you too much trouble." Looks back and specifically sees, what was her name? Pat. Pat kind of glaring, now definitely glaring in your direction. But Patty didn't give you trouble, did she? She's a softie underneath.
Upstanding citizen, her.
All right. Well, we really got to get get everything put together for Friday night. So it was so great meeting you. Realize I never actually got any of your names.
Great meeting you too, Mark. Good luck with the carnival. We'll surely drop by and we leave.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess maybe we are regrouping at Troy's house to pick our next destination.
Yeah, I mean, or we can sort of talk through that and just kind of fast forward there, right? We can use TV logic a little bit of kind of where we find things next.
I mean, I think we should, as teachers here, Angela, pay a visit to her parents, of course. Just to, as concerned staff, school members. It's a summer, but we never really stop working, do we?
Yeah, that's definitely an opening that we can use. So maybe she was acting weird or something like that before she disappeared. So it's definitely one place to go. I was also wondering if we are thinking this void might be involved, if it's not worth it to try to go back to the underground or just to see if anything has changed there, or try to talk to the other teens who maybe someone else is also going through something similar as she was. Maybe someone else saw this balloon thing.
I think, I think Book will. I mean, obviously, he's not a teacher, so he can't come with you on that. But will anyway excuse himself as if he could have. He'll be like, "Okay, yeah, I don't think I'm going to. I don't think I want to meet the parents." But this incubation thing has got me thinking. I think I've got some books at home. Some of Emma's books as well, actually, like in my basement. Maybe I'll just go and see whether anything pops up.
Troy, I'm curious what showed up for you when you heard him say your mom's name.
I think for just a minute he hears that voice again. The
Nose.
And I think Troy will kind of clear his head and say, "Yeah, do you want some company? I wouldn't mind taking a look."
And I think book says yes, face says no. Like, I think it's words and expression, but yeah, cool.
Yeah, Troy will just go, "Yeah, great. I can give you a ride even."
All right, so we'll start with Mrs. B and Angela going out to the Allen residence. It's pretty standard kind of, like mid-century, like kind of ranch style home, one level. And there's a car in the, the garage is open. You can see there's a car there. So it's easy to assume that someone is home. Is there anything that you want to do before you go to the door? Like look around or anything like that?
I mean, what does the house look like? Like, is there anything that would like give us a reason to like? What does the house look like? Before I answer,
pretty kind of plain, sort of suburban style. Mid-century ranch kind of house. There's it's pretty small, single car garage. It's there's maybe like 4th of July decorations up or something like that. Also just black balloons everywhere, all over it's pretty normal looking. But I think that you can see kind of as you're pulling up, that there is a tree that's really close to the house, like sort of on one side, next to a window.
Oh yes, I glance over at the tree. Angela, I was just thinking, I can talk to the parrots myself. Perhaps you could take a look at that tree over there. And I gesture over at the tree. I mean, it seems dangerous, having it grow so close to the house. You could have, I don't know, burglars break and enter.
Is this in any way connected to the case?
I'm just saying, Angela, it may be dangerous if someone tried to enter through the second floor window.
Sure, but I think there are people inside, and I will be there with you. And if someone goes in, then I will, protect you if that's what you're concerned about. If you're trying to, again, shelter me from some knowledge that is for your ears only, then you need to think of a better story.
Well, all right, Angela. I suppose I'll be clear. I believe that you should break and enter through the second story window.
Okay. I don't think that's quite legal and quite a great thing to do.
Legalities, and I kind of wave my hand like, that's something people say.
But someone's going to have to replace that window if, nothing wrong is
I mean, you said it was open, right, Jax?
Yeah, it is an open window.
Yep,
yeah,
it's open.
Yep.
Not getting out of it that way.
So, well, let's ask this. Is there any way that Angela could be convinced to do this?
If it's no, that's okay. I just thought I would bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she can be convinced, but it would have to be like something that is for the greater good to protect people. So if you like give her the basis of your suspicion of why it's worth it, then she can be convinced.
I don't I don't know if the parents are somehow involved in this or not. There were so many people at that cult meeting. We need someone who is like you, who can do some investigating beyond words. If there's
Alright.
anything hidden in the house, you're the one that could find it.
I'm not so great at finding things. I always lose.
You are very good at
everything
climbing
in
things.
my
So
house.
very
I'm
good at climbing
climbing.
things, Angela.
All right. So you go in.
I
and
saw
you
the way you
distract
climbed down that
them.
bus. It was very skillful. Like myself in my younger days.
Sure. All right. I will get inside and see if there is any obvious signs of blood or darkness in the room. And if yes, I'll get back down. And if no, I will also get back down. I can't promise anything more.
All right.
But
So
I can climb that damn tree.
yeah, Angela, you go around the side of the house, and I think the first thing that you notice is that the ground at the bottom of the tree seems wet, as if it had been raining out, which it has not been. It's kind of an extension of the clue from before. And I think probably we get you starting to climb the tree, and then we cut back to Mrs. B at the door.
Oh yes, I ring the doorbell, Tupperware in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like we should really be having you mark off load for that Tupperware.
Sure.
I'm just joking. And yeah, I think after just a moment, two people come to the door and open it, and here are Donovan and Rachel Allen, Hannah's parents. They kind of walk. Hold on one second. Thank you. They I think right away, Mrs. B, you can see that they there's something a little uncanny about them. Like they kind of move together, if that makes sense, like kind of almost in unison. Um and um and Donovan says, hello, how can we help you? You just muted yourself.
Oh, wait, hello there. I'm Mrs. Babajanian. Oh, Mrs. B, the kids call me from the school. I was just, it's even though it is the school year's out, we like to just check in on all of our students, make certain how they're doing over the summer. I brought some chocolate chip cookies with me, and I hold it up.
Rachel reaches out and looks at them and thank you, and just holds them in front of her.
Oh, do you mind if I come in and we can just talk about, Hannah's summer plans, her plans after school? We like to make certain that all of our children know the options they have available to them. How has she been doing?
I think Donovan says, we'd rather you not come in. We're in the midst of a home renovation project. But we can talk here.
Oh, home renovation. What sort of renovation?
You look over their shoulders and you don't see anything. I mean, it could be in a room that you can't see, but
I mean, I'm saying that out loud.
Yeah,
as well.
We are redoing the kitchen and the bathrooms, so we don't really want to have guests. Hannah's doing fine. She's not home right now, but She's probably at her job.
Oh. Yeah. Let me just see here. Yeah, I'm gonna push myself and I look him in the eyes. Oh, and I should have brought, let's see. Yeah, let's just open this one here. I just look him in the eyes, and my eyes cloud with darkness, and I say, "Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Gave thee life and bid thee feed by the stream and o'er the mead. Gave thee clothing of delight, softest clothing, woolly bright. Gave thee such a tender voice, making all the vales rejoice. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee?" And I am activating my new monstrous ability, Indomitable.
Yeah, Indomitable. You give into your inner darkness. You can either bind individuals to your will or cause psychic harm to anyone in the area.
Oh yeah, I'm binding them to my will for the moment because I don't trust these people at all.
Yeah. And so you pushed your luck. What you also choose, you lose control, you suffer a condition, or the keeper takes a strain.
What would losing my control look like here? Or is that something I would have to pick to know?
No, I mean, we can talk through what that might look like. So have you done this before?
I think this is actually, yes, I think this is actually something Mrs. B could like always do. It's just something she had like refused to do until now.
Yeah. So I think losing control here, I think this has happened to you before. Maybe part of even the reason that you are wary about using an ability like this is that if you're not careful, people don't always come back from it. I think losing control is actually that it's going to be hard to turn it off, if that makes sense.
I'll take a condition. I feel like I'd like a condition from this.
Okay.
Something for Angela to question later.
Yeah. Gosh, is this like the like the trope in like sci-fi horror stuff where you use some kind of psychic ability and like your nose starts to bleed a little bit or something like that? Is it something like that, or do you have any ideas what kind of condition you might want to take here?
Oh, it could be that. I mean, it could be that, like, we talked about Troy's eyes clouding over with, or was it Troy or Thomas? Their eyes clouding over with blackness.
Troy, yeah, Troy, yeah.
Like, maybe is that like a thing that's just like there and isn't going away for now?
Oh yeah. I think you can take the persistent condition Void Eyes. And they kind of look at each other and look back at you and say, "Yes, I'm sorry. Come in and have a seat."
I come in.
Yeah, they show you to the well, they tell you to sit wherever you like. There's like it's a pretty nicely furnished place. There's like couch and a love seat and two chairs, and everyone sits down and Rachel says, "No, I'm sorry. How can we help you? Hannah's not here."
Tell me why you lied to me. And I think, like, as I'm saying this, my voice is still like has this weird echoing deep ring to it.
Yeah. I think anytime you give like a command that's part of this, right, that happens. Yeah. Both of them at the same time look to you and say, "We're scared. We don't know what happened. Something took her. Something took us. And you can see, I think you can see it in Rachel, that seems like like part of her is fighting against this control that you have over her. You maybe even get a sense it's actually not her that's fighting it. It's something else.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, this is gonna be a bad idea, but, tell me everything you know. Because I feel like this is gonna call for an action roll here, and it's in stuff I'm bad at.
I think that we get Donovan saying we're so scared, and then I think we're gonna cut, and then we'll come back.
Sure.
So Book, you are Troy has given you a ride to your house. Let's talk about what's going on there.
Yeah, Book is leading Troy down to the basement where he keeps all his esoteric texts and general research over the years. He I think the first thing he does when he gets in is he turns, he has some kind of photo of Emma there somewhere, or maybe it's a group picture or something, and he turns that so Troy doesn't look at it, and it's just kind of it's just it's just automatic. And he goes, okay, yeah, I think why don't you take those books? I think they're monstrous, arcanum or something like that. I think that's what they call it. You just go through those, just see if there's anything. I mean, was it your idea, that incubation thing? Maybe just look for something like that. Maybe it'll give us some leads.
Yeah, I can do that. And he'll take the books over to a spot on the table as he does, and he'll just kind of be flipping through, and he'll say, "So, if you knew something about what happened to my mom and dad, you'd tell me, right, Book?"
Book goes, I mean, is there something that you don't know already? I thought Mrs. B or Angela, had told you everything that happened that night.
And Troy will go really still, and he'll say, "No, I know supposedly a car accident, but that never really made sense."
Oh, okay. So, I mean, I obviously don't know I don't have all the answers, but if if you never got anything more than car accident, then I think maybe we should wait for everyone to be together and we can sit down and talk about this together. Just because there's some things that the others might be able to fill in that I can't, and I don't know if I'm the best. I don't know if I'm the best person to tell you that, but I do think you are owed it.
You're not scared of telling me, are you, Book?
How do Troy's eyes look like right now?
I think he's still looking down.
Okay, yeah, that's extremely disconcerting. I think Book says, mean, we're dealing with something that we don't really understand, and I mean, that hasn't changed. We all knew there were risks.
While this is going on, can I do a study on the books? You are muted.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is risky just because studying takes time, right? So I think that there's a little bit of a sort of race against the clock here, maybe as well. And you're looking for.
Are you studying for the case or for something else?
For the case.
Oh,
if it were for something else, you could just do it, but I would probably tick the countdown clock.
Oh.
No, if it's for the case, then I'm helping, obviously. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is just a normal study party.
Normal study party. Something said at every normal study party. Okay, so you have one in study. Book.
Oh, I have two. Do you want to flip it around then? Do you want to help me so that we're rolling with 3 dice?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that works. So Troy, you can mark off a luck for the assist, and Book. Yeah, you're rolling with 3 for study, and you're looking.
And this is risky because you're worried about time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I mean, you don't know what kind of timeline you're on. So you find yourself spending an entire afternoon like looking for information about incubation of monsters or whatever. That could definitely have some problems along with it. So is that what are you looking specifically for, like stuff on like incubation, or like what are kind of like your your search terms, the things that you're trying to kind of find?
I'm not sure. Do you have sense, Ben, of like anything better than just like looking for something that like has an incubation period?
Maybe something that finds a target and follows for a few days before striking.
I will say too that there's also a piece of information that Book has. That
right.
You could.
I mean, just one.
I didn't even imagine that I could search my books for barking Billy. But if you say that that's possible, I will do that.
I mean, we can see. See. Okay, but yeah, like so monsters with incubation time, or like monsters that like follow after people, that kind of thing.
Monsters that bark, anything with the word Billy in it. Yeah, I think like
yeah.
Baby Billy, God, truly disturbing. Okay, I'll roll my 3 dice. Unless I want bargain. No, I just feel like my situation with Troy is like so finely balanced right now that any devil's bargain would just be in like absolute like chaos. Like I think I'll hold off. Okay, 6.
All right. Yeah. I think right, like probably both of you come across all kinds of entries about monsters that have incubation periods, or will hunt people, things like that. It's not uncommon. I think the thing that you find that is maybe more surprising, Book, you find a newspaper article that's folded up and kind of actually maybe even being used as a bookmark in one of your books. It is not a newspaper article that, as far as you can recall, you've ever seen before. You take it out and unfold it, and it is a article from the Last Pine Harbinger, from, say it's dated sometime in like summer of 1932, thereabouts.
Okay.
And there is a photo with this article of a young person dressed in kind of dark clothing, and probably wearing like a top hat or something. And the headline says "Barking Billy disappears."
Oh my God. Okay. Mm, mm. Um, I I think Book holds this up in front of Troy and says, "I did not put this here. Like I haven't seen this before, but it was right here in this book." Um, uh, I think yeah. I think we found. I think we found Billy.
Oh, that would be such a good place to cut the scene. But I think this is the place where the voices are quietest, typically, right?
Yeah, the usual voices. Like, yeah.
The usual voices, yeah. So I think though you start kind of hearing just like that barking, baby, Billy, barking, baby, Billy, kind of like rising in your head a little bit as you're talking with Troy here. Meanwhile, in the attic of the Allen house, yeah,
The
Angela,
attic, I thought it was going to be her bedroom.
So, well, it actually is. So it's like single story kind of like ranch style place, but the tree goes up to a window, which is the attic, and I think the attic has been sort of fitted as Hannah's room. And Angela, you come in, and there's like Christmas lights on the walls and things like that. Like kind of it's a teenager's bedroom in the 1990s. There's some posters up on the like slanted ceiling and stuff. And yeah, so you are in Hannah's room. What are you looking for? What do you hope to find here?
So I think to myself that teenage girls have diaries, right? That's what they tell us. And so I try to find some notebook or something looking like a diary to see if she has written anything concerning.
I think you can just find this. I think you don't have to look particularly hard. I mean, I think here's the thing about teenagers with diaries, right? Is they think they're good at hiding them, and adults are always good at finding them. That's just the truth, right? So you're able to find it pretty easily. And it doesn't have a lock on it or anything. I'm sure it says, do not read or something like that on it. But you page through it and you find the last entry, which is a very well written account of her walk home, cutting through the fairgrounds, seeing this balloon, that the balloon popped and it scared her. And then a paragraph or so of her saying that since she's been home, she's been hearing a voice, a whisper, saying what sounds like barking Billy. I think that I'm trying to think if there's I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else that you're looking for here, but I think it doesn't give any clues as to where she is, but there's definitely more than just what she told Ollie.
Definitely she came home and so maybe I will, if there is nothing that like strikes me in this room after looking around, then I will maybe try to slowly get down and see some room in the background, like the parents' room.
Oh, okay. So like you go down the tree and then like look through windows and stuff?
Yes, something like that. I'm trying to see some signs of maybe the cult that we've seen recently, if they have been involved in this. So strange ropes, symbols, some stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want to go back out the tree and like look through windows, or do you want to try to sneak downstairs and start sneaking while Mrs. B is talking with them?
I think I want to do it from the tree. Maybe I can find
Okay.
some other opening if these are the USA doors that you can like slide up. Then I want to try to do that maybe in some other place.
Okay. Yeah, so I think you'd have to go all the way down to the bottom of the tree and just kind of be like looking through windows and things like that. But yeah, potentially you could get in through a window. We could see. I think, once as you go down the tree, the main thing you notice is when you get to the ground again is that wet ground there. And you notice that there seems to be kind of like a wet path leading from the tree through the backyard into a patch of woods. But there are plenty of windows that you can look through if you'd like to see if you can see any signs of the cult.
Yeah, so maybe I will try and just considering that Mrs. B came in kind of at the front, I want to see if I can spot them somewhere and just kind of head in a different direction so they don't see me directly in front of them in the window. But
yeah, I think actually, the window that would be like right there is probably the room they're in. You can see Mrs. B, you can see them, but they're sort of staring very intently at Mrs. B. And so, yeah, you can kind of sneak past there.
Nothing going on out here.
Yeah. So let's cut back in there for now. So yeah, Mrs. B, the last thing we kind of saw is it seemed like Rachel Allen was sort of fighting against this sort of spell that you have over her. What do you do?
I mean, I'm gonna try to exert my will and force whatever is something's being kept from me by some other power, and
Yeah.
I want to find out what.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that you push, and at this point, Donovan is just sort of repeating like, "We're so scared. We're so scared. Please don't make us." And Rachel is kind of like shaking a little bit. And what's this look like? Here's the thing: is that I think that you have bound Rachel and Donovan to your will, right? But whatever else is here is not, and I think that thing is about to take Rachel over.
Okay.
I think you get that sense right here. I guess this is sort of me making a soft move here, right?
Yeah, I guess that's why I was kind of feeling like this was heading towards a move. Like, should I make I feel like because I felt like I was also making some soft moves towards making a compel here, even though I'm really bad at it, to fight with this creature over Rachel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that sounds great. So yeah, you have 0 in compel. So I'm imagining you're going to want to push your luck or maybe make a deal.
Yeah, is there a deal to make here? I mean, Barry was peeping through the window, so that might be something right there.
Yeah. No, I know what the deal is.
Angela was peeking through the window.
Angela was, yeah. I know what the deal here is. Angela is going to find what is exerting its will over the Allens.
Oh well, sure, that's an Angela problem.
Yeah. Okay, so that puts you at 1 die for compel. This is. I'm gonna say I think it's starting to grow desperate here.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's a 5. Hey.
Okay. All right. So on a desperate 5, you do it, but there's going to be some consequences here. I think that first of all, I am going to tick the countdown clock twice, which puts it at half full. Oh, I should have gone over that at the beginning. So it's a 4-step countdown clock here. And I think that we can talk about what the other part of this consequence is after we play this out. So tell me what it looks like for you to try to compel this other thing that's here.
I feel like it. Wait, let me check our safety here. Yeah, I feel like as I'm forcing this other power out of her, I feel like she actually like keels over and like vomits this like black liquid that Troy found onto the floor.
That is exactly what I was going to suggest. I think it's not just, she's not just like retching it, like it's like coming out of all orifices.
Fair.
And kind of pooling and starting to take shape as something. At the same time, Angela, you look in the window of the parents' bedroom, and you can see that the windows sort of open a crack. And if you'd like, you can kind of start pushing it up. You do. And as you're doing that, you're not quite sure where they're coming from because you didn't see them a moment ago, but dozens and dozens of black balloons start just floating through the window out towards you. And back in the living room, Mrs. B, there is a creature made out of this stuff that is it's sort of, I mean, as it kind of comes together, it almost looks like it's like made out of shadow or something. Like it doesn't quite have the same sort of like liquid look. Maybe like when it catches the light, it does. And you have compelled it out of her, or them probably actually. But it you get the feeling of it looking at you, right? Like that feeling of like someone kind of looking into your soul sort of feeling. And then it starts, it's not just like humanoid in shape. I'm trying to think of like what it actually kind of like looks like. I think it's sort of like changing sort of shapes. Like it'll look kind of humanoid and then it looks more like an animal. And it starts trying to move out of the room. What do you do?
So would this be like a resist here to stop it from like moving out of the room, or?
I think so. Yeah.
I think I like am just. I think it's like even at this point, it's not just that my eyes are black; it's that like the veins coming out of my eyes are turning black, and like there are just black veins popping out as I'm just turning up my power more. And I am like shouting in this kind of wailing ghost-like voice, "Speak your name, creature. Stay and speak your name, creature." Yeah. And I guess I think I'm resisting here with my heart, I think, is it?
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, why don't we make that roll and then we'll take our second break.
Yeah, I think also we should aim at like thinking about how to wrap up this hunt because this is our last session, right?
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, why don't you make the roll? You have 2 if you resist with heart.
That's 2 3s.
Okay, so you can mark I think it was 3.
But with my Indomitable, when I use it for the remainder of the scene, I can only mark a maximum of 2.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so mark 2. All right, let's take our break, and then we'll come back and we'll figure out how to bring this hunt to a close. Be back at let's say 10 after. we'll give Barry just another minute to get back. There we go. So I have kind of a pitch, and we'll see what you all think. I kind of love the trope a little bit in sort of Monster of the Week type shows, right? Where like part of what happens kind of when the showdown is about to take place is like, the people who weren't there kind of rushing in. And I think that sort of makes sense here, right? Of kind of, Troy and Book know where Mrs. B and Angela are off to, and they sort of just, got some information. So I wonder if we want to sort of out of character make our showdown roll, kind of come up with your theory, and then we can kind of sort of jump in there, maybe if that makes sense for folks. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay.
I think the road into the woods is like a good hook to where the showdown can take place.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go over the showdown questions. So anyone want to just review the clues that you have found, and I can add anything that you might have missed.
Go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask about all that stuff that happened in that last scene. Like, what are those clues? It sounded like
I think
monster is a clue.
Yeah, I think we can use that. I think that we can use that for sure. That's anything that we've seen on screen like that, I think is fine. Okay, so I think also like possessed or soulless parent, something like that probably can be on the list. Yeah. So what is this thing?
We didn't see it, right? Because you said something, and I think I just missed it. You said that Angela saw something.
Angela saw something.
I saw black balloons that were like escaping through the window, I guess.
Oh, from inside the house?
From the house,
From inside the
that
house.
weren't there before.
The other thing that Angela saw was she noticed that at the bottom of the tree, it's not just wet earth there, but actually kind of like a path of wet earth leading to this woods behind the house. Is that maybe what it was?
Oh no, I think when Steven's Devil's Bargain was Angela faces something. So I was like, oh, did I miss it? Did Angela?
Yeah, I think there was something inside the place as well.
Yeah, and then we haven't seen that on screen yet.
Okay,
yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So something 60 years ago, something took a kid. A kid disappeared, and now that thing is back, and another kid has disappeared. That's all we've got in terms of, like, we haven't really discussed anything other than that, have we? Like, in terms of this monster.
What exactly were the voices saying? Like, barking Billy is here? What about him apart from his name?
He's coming back.
He's coming back.
And he was the kid that disappeared. So I don't know whether we want to say, I mean, my understanding was that the same thing that got Billy has come back now. There is a weirder thing of like, hey, Billy was never a person or something like that. Like, so when they say barking Billy's coming back, I'm interpreting that as the thing that took barking Billy's coming back. But if it's weirder than that, that's also interesting.
Maybe he's coming back somehow twisted by this void. Maybe he was someone who we don't really have clues on that. I wonder what the black fluid that smells like oil could be.
Hold on one second.
it feels like the black stuff is the monster, right? Because we have
Yeah.
an ooze monster. Or is it like this is the void? This is like the substance of the void.
I mean, is it then that the monster is a like the void actually entering the world in a physical form, as opposed to just like kind of telepathically?
Or
Okay.
maybe even the barking Billy could be a physical form for the darkness to use. Something like that. That it's just the slimy thing that doesn't have a form so much. It can manipulate people, but if it can have this kid that it once stole and now maybe has enough power to use him, maybe it can wreak more
So
chaos.
is it like it got Billy and now it's got another person and now it was going to take the parents as well? Like it's like it's like a thing that can control many bodies or something like that.
Maybe like all good high school girls in supernatural TV shows, Hannah had been dabbling in some stuff she shouldn't been.
When Angela opens her diary, it's just like a spell circle and like runes, and it's like just yeah.
We don't know why the balloons. I guess it was just that the balloons were there at the fair and they got black. That's a bit like
No, the
weird
idea is that
for me.
Angela, sorry, not Angela. What is the child's name again?
Hannah.
Hannah.
Yeah, Hannah was doing something and summoned something, and that thing was following her, right? Like that's like, so the balloons are the manifestation of that thing.
Maybe more like her parents, because she seemed quite innocent from the diary. She was just confused.
Yeah, that's true. The parents sounds.
They were
I
scared.
mean, we know that a lot of cultists got away. Are
Yeah.
were these parents part of the cult?
Yeah.
I think
Also,
that's
renovating
safe.
kitchen is super expensive. Like maybe they're looking for some shortcuts.
Demon, pay for my kitchen.
Okay, yeah. So are former cultists who tried to repeat a ritual that happened 60 years ago to summon something from the void back.
And maybe instead of that, they summoned the last victim.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
Who's like now angry and furious that they robbed him of his childhood, and like the void is using him even though he doesn't know it.
Okay. Okay. That is really persuasive to me. Basically, it's barking Billy, zombie ghost, like a white ghost, like yeah.
Both angry at the void and possessed by the void, I would guess.
Yeah, so what's he or what's it want?
Revenge
on all the adults of Last Pine.
Yeah.
Maybe on the town, because maybe there already was this episode with the cultists, and now how could they do this again?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And yeah, he might not know who the cultists are, but if they are here, then might as well destroy everything.
I mean, he's starting with the actual cultists, so he hasn't done anything. Like, I mean, Hannah is definitely like the wrong target, but so far, he's just been going after the cultists who summoned him. So.
Maybe he doesn't even want to kill her. Maybe he wants to protect her from her parents.
Oh, Hannah's fine. I like that.
So what do you want to do about it? How can it be neutralized or dealt with? / do you want to neutralize it?
I mean, in that case, I feel like the thing we might want to do here is to find a means of like communing with Billy rather than just banishing him outright.
I mean, we want to banish the part of the void that's possessing Billy, right? Maybe
Yeah.
we get Billy back, but it's the Billy from 60 years ago as if no time has passed. But there is something else that we need to get rid of. Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe we can talk to Billy also somehow to get rid of the void. Maybe, possibly with
Yeah. I
like.
think the challenge is how do we talk to Billy, right? Like, how do we get past the void? What if the parents have like the ritual, like all their notes are there, and we need to like I don't know, reverse it or like carry out an alternate version of it or something.
Maybe we can try to track him also by this watery path into the woods and just like hope to find him and I don't know, like not maybe trap him, but like encircle him in some spot to talk to him with these notes of the parents.
Okay. And the watery path also suggests that the ritual had something to do with water, right? Like that they like uh, yeah, trap Billy in water or something. Um, hmm. Okay, yeah. What if the answer is just track Billy down to wherever he's hiding and talk to him and find a way to talk to him? Like, what if that is the answer to the question?
And I think we already know quite a lot about this void, right? So you guys and Mrs. D as well, you can figure out how to talk to this void.
Yeah. I was just going to suggest with the water, there is that flooded there is that old quarry that's flooded now.
Oh wow, did they flood the quarry 60 years ago?
Maybe.
Yeah, with Billy inside. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Clear revenge.
All right. Also, why don't we make the showdown roll? Yeah, I think you're able to use a clue to help answer all three of those questions, right? So go ahead and whoever would like to roll 3 dice.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, so on the showdown roll, if you roll a 1 to 3, your theory is full of holes or your approach isn't well considered. The keeper may invite you to work together to determine why your answers were wrong or what the truth really is, or they'll just show you in play. When we cut to the action, you start in a desperate position and something has already gone wrong. Angela, these balloons are just like pushing out of this room, this window, and you kind of back off. I imagine that probably was a little bit startling when it first happened, but you're kind of starting to catch your bearings, and then you see in the room a very large figure made out of this black goo, and it doesn't have eyes, but you can feel it looking at you, and it is now coming in your direction. What do you do?
Great. I'm still behind the window, right?
So yeah, it's still inside the house, but it's coming to the open window.
Okay, then I think I will stay behind the window. So I will kind of stop leaning on it, step a few steps back, and kind of get ready to fight it, subdue it, however you fight a shadow. But I won't charge into it, but I will ready myself.
Okay. Then we'll come back to that in a moment. Inside the house, Mrs. B, you have compelled this other thing to not leave the living room, and so it kind of settles into a form. It's not a form that you recognize, but if Troy and Book were here, they would. Sort of the silhouette of baby barking Billy turns to you, and you hear a strange kind of voice coming out saying, "What do you want? You're just like the rest of them. What do you want?"
I want to know why you're doing this. People are being hurt, Billy. Or I don't know their name, but people are being hurt.
People are always being hurt. This is no different. Pain is the natural state of life. And I think with that, it kind of goes like this with a sort of arm tendril kind of thing, and Rachel and Donovan go flying like rag dolls and hit the wall really hard. They probably crash into like a hutch or something, and like the good china is in there and comes crashing down on top of them.
Great.
I think Troy and Book, you can show up probably whenever you'd like. But yeah, Mrs. B, what do you do?
Let's see here. I am have I heard Troy and Book arrive?
I say that's up to them, but I just saw Thomas shake his head no. So.
I feel like we haven't arrived. Like we haven't done anything yet. So.
I mean, like not necessarily arrived like you're here, but like your car pulling up or something.
Sure. I mean, what do you want to do? Because I was imagining that we'd arrive by doing something.
Okay.
Got to get that dramatic entrance.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking of trying to temporarily sort of stun this creature with my other charming and disarming power to give you a way to enter and attack it.
Sure. Yeah.
I think I look at the creature and I whisper in this kind of quiet voice, my voice kind of returning back, my in this quiet whispering voice. When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me while yet my tongue could scarcely cry, weep, 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 weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in soot I sleep. And I am pushing myself to invoke my charming and disarming, and all hostile creatures pause while I speak as I'm reciting these lines.
Yeah, it stops, or Billy, I guess, stops and kind of looks at you and looks you in the eyes. Says, "Oh, I see." Book and Troy, you can be arriving now if you'd like.
So there are two things: one staring down Angela, and one staring down Mrs. B.
Mm-hmm. And you don't technically know about either of them yet.
We pull up and we get down and we see them. And that's step one. I think.
Yeah, I think you can probably. Yeah, I think that there's probably like a big window in front that looks right into the living room, and you just see what's happening in there. I think.
Yeah, Mrs. B is continuing to speak lines of poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can see that there's this weird goo creature, shadowy goo creature that Mrs. B is facing off against right in this living room.
I think Book turns to Troy and goes, "This is terrible. Mrs. B is speaking poetry again."
Yeah, that's the problem here.
Ben, do you want to crash the car like into one of these things, like the thing in the window or something like that?
Well, I didn't, but now I do. Yeah. So Troy will dramatically, buckle up and then just turn straight towards the big window.
I feel like if there's a role here, it's to like not like completely lose control on this. Maybe, considering that your friend and colleague is right on the other side of that window as well. So yeah, what do you think? What do you want to roll here?
I mean, it sounds like a wreck.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Don't forget you have improved effect now.
Yeah,
because
you
of
have
my
improved
thing.
effect. Yeah.
Right.
So or improved position. So yeah,
Yeah,
this, I
position.
think that this was definitely a desperate action here, but I think that this puts you up at risky. So you
Or
have-
wait, so the gain improved position, that applies to both choices, not just the second? It's actually unclear for me now that I'm reading
yeah,
it.
let me read back through it. I think that that's for both choices. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that makes sense. That's for both choices. Yeah, and so you have one in rec. Do you want to push your luck or make it
Yeah, I'll
the
push my luck.
darkness? All right, cool.
Can I help?
How are you helping him crash the car, Book?
I mean, I gave him the idea. Maybe I'm like I'm. Maybe it's about like spotting the path. Like I'm like go through the hedge or something like that. Like it's like so that we don't hit Angela as well, right? Because Angela on this side and Miss B, we're trying to go through and hit the window.
Yeah. Well, to be clear, Angela's not in there right now. She's still behind the house.
So the thing that was
there are
coming
two
towards
different.
Angela was not the front window; it's the back
Right.
window.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's still like a ooze monster in here with me, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and mark a luck, and yeah, that brings you up to 3 dice, Troy. Risky.
There's a 6.
All right, you do it. Describe this for me. Paint me the picture of you crashing into the front of this house and into the ooze monster.
I think it's a really quick decision after Book suggests, and Troy just puts the van into reverse, aligns it with the window, and just floors it forward. We're blowing the budget on this episode.
Right, yeah. Well, we don't know if we're going to get renewed, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, you crash into the front of this house. You back into it well, I guess, you're pretty in control here, but yeah, hit this goo monster. What do we think happens to the goo monster when you hit it?
Maybe it like pops into the viscous black fluid.
Yeah.
I imagine you have to turn on your windshield wipers.
Yeah.
I think what happens is as you hit it, it kind of starts shooting outward, and it starts looking like the black balloons. So it's like you hit like a big thing full of balloons basically, but then the balloons start popping and this sort of goo and ooze starts kind of going everywhere. Meanwhile, coming from the parents' bedroom, Angela, this other thing is walking towards you and has taken on a shape. It was really big and then kind of like melted down a little bit into the size of not much, probably a little bit smaller than you, and kind of, cocks its head, and it doesn't really have any features or anything, but you hear a voice that sounds familiar say, Coach?
Oh,
Coach Miller? And it's Hannah's voice.
oh no. Hannah? Is that you?
Why are you here? You shouldn't be here.
I was worried about you.
You don't need to
Ollie.
worry about me anymore.
Ollie was worried about you too, and I just like try
Oh,
to see if something will change about the creature.
poor Ollie. He could never understand why this is better. Sometimes your parents really do know best.
I think maybe while I'm talking to her, I want to kind of look through my pockets, and I saw that in my load I have an occult or holy relic item, and maybe Mrs. B has shared some of her trinkets with me when we were talking recently about her past and various things, and I think I'd have just this one like occult bracelet of protection or something like this, and I will slip it on my wrist to then like try to prevent some sort of possession or something like this.
Yeah.
And once it's on, I want to try and reach my hand towards the creature and say, Hannah, this is not good for you. I have read your diary. I'm sorry. I know this is a breach of privacy, but we were so worried. And you were scared. And you shouldn't be. What your parents are doing, they have no right to do this to you. Come with us.
Yeah. What this sounds like an action, a risky action here. What So you want her to come with you?
Yeah, mainly I want to like reach her so she like gets level with me, so maybe she stops. Yeah, I want to really connect to her and make her understand that I want what's best for her and don't want to harm her.
Yeah. So you have one in connect. Do you want to push your luck or make a deal with the darkness?
I think I will push my luck.
Yeah. It puts you at 2. So this is risky. I don't think anyone else is really in a position to help yet. But I like this approach that Angela is taking. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
Is this just to connect with her, or are you trying to like exorcise the possession? Like, are you trying to free her from the grip of this?
For now, no, because Angela doesn't have experience with that. Angela has experience with teenagers, so she's just doing that. She's trying to reach the teenager.
I mean, given the time we have left, maybe it will have unexpected effects depending on how this roll goes.
Yeah.
Sure. Yep.
In which case, I can like do my flashback thing and bump
Okay.
this up. If are we I am looking at the clock as well.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. We're got about 20 minutes. So yeah, what's that look like?
Yeah, I think it's again flashback to Berry said Angela had something from Mrs. B, right? Like a bracelet. And I think we flash back to Book going, and listen, Angela, like Mrs. B stuff, they don't work. Take this as well. And it's like, it's something that's attached to the bracelet, and it's just like another relic that book kind of like ties to it and goes like, okay, like this will help, like when you're trying to connect to somebody like through the void or something like that, this stuff really helps. It gives you like a clarity of purpose or something like that. And book will try to try to help you with that.
Yes, you go ahead and mark off your plot armor.
Yeah, and
yeah,
you get plus 2d and improved position.
Yeah,
And 4, and I am rolling.
Yeah, so 4, and it actually pushes you up into a safe position, which I'm going to rename. So if anyone has any ideas, we should talk. But yeah, so roll those 4.
And that was a good good decision because I got a 4 on my last die. And that's the highest one.
Yeah. Well, you know, on a safe position, you get what you're going for, and a little bit more. So you accomplish more than expected, but there's a minor consequence. I think that, yeah, you connect with the what of Hannah is sort of left here. And she says, it's not that simple. Sometimes, whether what they did was right or not, it's too late to take it back.
My friends, they are really great and talented people. Maybe they can help you. Your parents too.
It might not be too late for them, I guess, but it's too late for me. And she kind of sort of gestures, and you actually can see it was behind the bed, so I think that's probably why you couldn't see it before, Hannah's body. But this thing is not, this version of Hannah, this goo monster, is not going to attack you, and I think actually sort of on your side a little bit here. So you can decide what you want to do with that. Back in the living room, this goo monster that sort of exploded all over the room is kind of trying to come back together. I think that Donovan and Rachel are probably like passed out on the couch. We probably get some sort of visual.
You could have gotten here quicker. I was on my last verse.
We get some sort of visual signal on Donovan and Rachel that shows that they are cultists. Maybe you walk up to them and you see that they have like one of those sigils like tattooed on their wrists or something. But yeah, Troy and Book, Mrs. B has just said that, and this goo monster is trying to put itself back together. What do you do?
Troy will say, everyone's a critic. Do you need a lift?
Well, I think we should deal with this thing first.
Where's Angela?
Oh dear, I think she's around back. Oh, I feel like Troy would be helpful out here. Like, this is just going through Mrs. B's mind. I feel like Troy would be helpful out here, but at the same time, I need to supervise Book.
Why don't we all go out to where Angela is?
Okay.
Why does anyone need to be?
I mean, there's still this creature to deal with that's like reforming, I thought. It's not dead.
It is correct, yeah. It is reforming.
Oh, I think it'll follow us. Like, I'm not...
Yes, that's the wonderful plan then. It will follow us. So we should just go and like cut and be just like have things on both sides. But no, yes, let's all go with to find Angela. That's a good idea. Get us all together for one last climactic moment.
So
Maybe
you go
we
out,
actually meet midway, because maybe I will take a ghost fragment of Hannah towards my friends, as I said, to maybe try to at least set the part of her free. So we probably meet somewhere as I get through the window to the house.
Yeah, do you want to have come inside? And like maybe you look at the body and see that, you know, it's too late for her actual physical form, but she's just sort of standing there with you. The goo version. The goose, no, that's nothing. And yeah, you can walk into the living room if you would like. And the scene you see there is another goo monster slowly reforming as Troy and Book and Mrs. B are exchanging quips.
I think maybe do we all want to like? I think I'll go for it. I think Mrs. B is like assessing the situation here. Mrs. B kind of instructs everyone that we need to join hands and enact a ritual or something together to like try to make this into a group role to try to banish the void, at least.
Yeah.
Does that work? Go ahead, Book.
No. Does Angela, like when she comes in with the ghost of Hannah, like, is that ghost aggressive? Is the ghost on our side?
Yeah, so yeah, and I want to be clear, it's not really a ghost, it's really another goo monster. So that's what you see is her come in with a goo monster.
I just want to know how Angela is Angela like got her arm over the goo monster?
Yeah, I love the idea they're just like talking pleasantly as they
because if we see Angela being able to communicate with that one kind of safely, maybe we ask the goo monster for help, like we use it as a conduit of some sort.
Right, yeah, I like that.
Okay, so it sounds like you are trying to act together. Is that right?
Yeah.
So the pact works together to either pull off a complicated maneuver or otherwise acts together as a group. Describe the approach. So you're holding hands and trying to do like a ritual kind of thing here.
Yeah.
Okay. Each participating hunter describes what they do and makes an action roll, so you actually don't have to all roll the same thing like in standard Blades, as long as what you're doing makes sense. And then we kind of will go through and describe what happens kind of based on those results. This is actually, believe it or not, I'm running a like now 25 session campaign of this game, and this is the first time anyone's ever done a group action. The other that campaign is only 2 players, and they split up a lot, so that's probably why. But so yeah, group actions work a little bit differently here, so this is a good opportunity to see how they actually feel. So yeah, just what kind of action is everyone? Would everyone like to take here? What's Mrs. B? You called for this, so what's your approach here?
I think it's a connect, right? Mm-hmm. Connect is the one for also connecting to the void. If we're using Hannah's spirit as a conduit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Open yourself to others of the void. Network with contacts, comfort or console. Yeah. Okay. So you have 1 in that. Do you want to push your luck or make a deal?
Can you put your luck on act together?
Yeah, I think so. You can on group actions in Blades, right?
Can you? I felt like in Blades that was kind of in Blades, because you take like the highest result in Blades, and that determines like the consequences and results. That like pushing yourself kind of was mechanically not as helpful most of the time.
I guess that makes sense.
Because it was like 1 stress to like cover for someone getting a miss.
Right. Yeah. And that's sort of, I mean, like functionally pretty similar here. So yeah, I mean, I think the way I ran it when I was running other Forge in the Dark stuff was you don't
Yeah.
have to, and I think you're right. Yeah, there's maybe an incentive to not. So I'll read the whole move here, because it kind of works out pretty similarly. So on a miss, you're in a bad spot due to the maneuver. On a weak hit, you do all right, but there may be consequences. On a strong hit, you do it, and may mark 1 luck to get someone else out of a bad spot, turning their miss into a weak hit or their weak hit into a strong hit. So turning a 1 to 3 into a 4 or 5, or a 4 or 5 into a. So basically, whoever succeeds can help other people turn their misses into successes. And the critical hit cancels all misses.
Yeah, I think in the spirit of keeping this quick, I will just push myself for a second die, and we'll see what I get here.
Cool.
Well, that's 2 1s. So
all right.
Somebody should turn that into a success, because otherwise that's a very bad consequence.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back to that in a moment. Book, what's your approach here? Are you also connecting, or you want to do something else?
I think that's the. Actually, yeah. Just for the sake of doing something else, I think I'll roll rig. I think I'll take the. I'll take a relic that I have. I'll take one that Angela is carrying, the one that I gave to Angela, and I'll try to like use them to create something that I think will like help this ritual like go better.
Sure. So, yeah, that sounds good. Do you want to push your luck for another die?
If I may, I'd like to also suggest that you pull out the jumper cables from Troy's car.
I feel like that's a Troy thing, not a book thing. Like, I don't think book knows anything about cars. Like, but yeah, if Ben wants to add,
I mean, you know about electronics though, and like.
No, the opposite. Yeah. I don't know anything about.
Oh, you don't know anything about electronics. I thought that was your thing. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess I do need an extra die. It just feels like 1 die is too little.
Yeah, somebody needs to succeed on this.
Yeah. Okay. It's 2 5s.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sure has the 5. All right. Troy.
I was wondering if I could use Spooky to channel the void to act on my behalf and kind of urge it to do what we want it to do.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So that's you'd be rolling connect to move small objects with your mind. You can spend luck to increase the effect of it.
I feel like increasing the effect would be necessary here.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So go ahead and roll connect. You have 2 in connect.
4.
Okay. All right. And Angela.
Can I still push my luck in this roll or no?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, then I think I will also connect, but maybe in a different way. I will try to kind of connect with the people around me doing this ritual. So with the ghost of Hannah, and also with Mrs. B and Troy and Book, so that they don't get dragged into this void. I want to keep them here with me, and I want to keep us all grounded.
Mm-hmm. Protector to the end. I love it. Yeah. So you can make that roll with 2 dice. Okay. Yeah. So Mrs. B is going to be in a bad spot. Everyone else is going to do all right, but there might be consequences. Unfortunately, there's no one that can turn any of their misses, or that can use their success to turn Mrs. B's miss into a hit. So, fundamentally, this this works, I think.
Yeah, I think that Mrs. B just right now is like, she is like spewing like black bile from her mouth, her ears, her eyes.
Yeah.
Like, I think she's probably levitating in the air like a couple inches at this point.
Your void eyes are your entire eyes now. I mean, like,
Yeah.
there's no white of your eye left. It's all it's just black. Yeah. And but fundamentally, you wanted to like banish the barking Billy goo monster or whatever this thing is, right? Yeah, I mean, I think you know, since we're at the end of our time, I think that we just sort of we get that. We probably have, you know, everybody's like sort of chanting or something, and you know, Book has this you know, thing that he rigged to make everything stronger, and as it's like trying to reform itself, it's like pieces of it keep like flaking off and kind of like, you know, floating past. And more and more of it is kind of like flaking off and disappearing. I think that we also see that the same thing is happening to Hannah. That pieces of this are you know, pieces of her are kind of also starting to like flake off. And as you continue chanting and you know, trying to banish this monster, sort of like bigger and bigger pieces kind of start drifting away, until they're both gone. And Mrs. B, I think you are no longer levitating. I think you drop kind of hard to the floor, and your eyes are still black.
Could I resist Hannah being banished? Like, save her
Yeah.
spirit from being claimed by the void?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. How do you do that? Oh.
I think that I roll up my sleeve, and I think that we see now that I actually have the Book of Names like actually written into my skin. That's where it's been hidden, and why I've always had my arms covered. And I say in my like weird magic voice, "You will not claim her." And I think that some of the sigils of the Book of Names just start burning off of my skin as I feed them to the void to keep her safe.
Holy shit, that's amazing. What attribute are you using there?
I think I want to say mind here. Like, it's the thing I'm sort of I think I'm sort of using my knowledge, my occult knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get you have 3 to resist with mind.
Yeah,
so
and I got a
awesome.
5.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
And yeah, I fill up, mark another doom.
Yeah, there we go. Well, I think that actually is perfect here, because I think what happens is Hannah, instead of getting banished, gets taken into you.
Cool. Wonderful.
Yeah. And so I think, you know, that's probably kind of where you know, where this scene ends, is sort of you on the, you know, having hit the floor, you know,
Can I
eyes
catch
just like
her?
total. Yeah, you can catch her, that's fine. Yeah. But you notice that her eyes are just like completely black. And I think that Rachel and Donovan, the parents, kind of like come to and like look around and like immediately try to just run off. You can catch them or not, it doesn't matter. But we're right at the top of the hour. Would it be okay if we go around and just do kind of like a brief sort of epilogue for each character? Cool. So this scene ends. We probably get a shot of, you know, the police coming, because someone definitely called the police when a van drove into a house, right? Maybe we even get you know, Rachel and Donovan being taken away in cuffs as the sort of scapegoats for a number of things that have been happening around Last Pine lately. And yeah, and then there can be as much of a time jump here, or as little of one as we want. But let's just go in the order that you're on my screen. Troy, what do we see as sort of this the season of the show comes to a close for you?
I think the camera starts kind of outside of Troy's house, and we see the garage open. The car is still banged up from the last adventure, and the radio is on playing, I don't know, Smashing Pumpkins, and his tools have been abandoned. And we go into the house and into the kind of makeshift library, and we see Troy there, kind of hovering in the air, reading a book, his eyes just pitch black with stars right at the back.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Love it. Cool. Barry, what's our last thing we see with Angela?
I think we see Angela talking to Ollie and kind of awkwardly explaining to him what happened to Hannah and trying to offer some comfort in her way, and I think then they go for a run together.
Okay. Yeah.
Just like push through the feelings.
I love it. All right, Thomas, where do we leave things with Book?
I think with Book is it's another scene in his basement, and we're only seeing him and his side of the conversation, but he's just going, you're right. I have to tell him. I'll get Mrs. B. I'll get Angela. We'll sit down. We'll sit down with the boy and we'll explain it to him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Mrs. B.
I think Mrs. B is we see her gathering up old photos of the Burn Book Club before Troy joined. And I think she's specifically looking at the ones that have Book in it. Because I think that as a result of my next doom, I am changing my belief about Book to Book is the incubator through which the void will birth itself into the world. I must stop him at all cost.
Yeah. And I think that we sort of, as you're doing this, as you're looking through these photos, like sitting on the counter or like on the table or something, is a sort of spectral vision of Hannah. Just kind of watching what you do.
I would also, if we were continuing, say that we should add her as a new pack contact, Hannah the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah, absolutely. She is an ally on the pack sheet for sure. All right, awesome. Well, to anyone who happens to be watching, thank you for watching. This hunt was based on The Black Balloon by Nick Barron. You can follow him on Twitter at Broken Contract. That hunt is available on his Patreon for his company Breaker Press. And so thanks for joining us. Thanks everybody for playing, and have a good one.